KSJE and the Farmington Public Library present Cuentos Hahne and Tales.
Hello, my name is Lisa Best and I am from the Farmington Public Library. Today I am going to be reading The Gruffalo by Julia Donaldson. A mouse took a stroll through the deep, dark wood. A fox saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. "Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have lunch in my underground house." "It's terribly kind of you, fox, but no, I'm going to have lunch with a Gruffalo." "A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo?" "A Gruffalo? Why, didn't you know? He has terrible tusks and terrible claws and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws." "Where are you meeting him?" "Here, by these rocks, and his favorite food is roasted fox." "Roasted fox? Oh my!" Fox said. "Goodbye, little mouse," and away he sped. "Silly old fox! Doesn't he know? There's no such thing as a Gruffalo." On went the mouse through the deep dark wood. An owl saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. "Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Join me for tea in my treetop house." "It's frightfully nice of you, owl, but no, I'm going to have tea with a Gruffalo." "A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo?" "A Gruffalo? Why, didn't you know? He has knobbly knees and turned out toes and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose." "Where are you meeting him?" "Here, by this stream, and his favorite food is owl ice cream." "Owl ice cream! To wit! To woo! Goodbye, little mouse," and away owl flew. "Silly old owl! Doesn't he know? There's no such thing as a Gruffalo." On went the mouse through the deep dark wood. A snake saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. "Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come for a feast in my log pile house." "It's wonderfully good of you, snake, but no, I'm having a feast with a Gruffalo." "A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo?" "A Gruffalo? Why, didn't you know? His eyes are orange, his tongue is black, he has purple prickles all over his back." "Where are you meeting him?" "Here, by this lake, and his favorite food is scrambled snake." "Scrambled snake? It's time I hid. Goodbye, little mouse," and away snake slid. "Silly old snake! Doesn't he know? There's no such thing as a Oh! But who is this creature with terrible claws and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws? He has knobbly knees and turned out toes, and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose. His eyes are orange, his tongue is black, he has purple prickles all over his back." "Oh, help! Oh, no! It's a Gruffalo!" "My favorite food," the Gruffalo said. "You'll taste good on a slice of bread." "Good?" said the mouse. "Don't call me good. I'm the scariest creature in this deep dark wood. Just walk behind me and soon you'll see everyone is afraid of me." "Oh, sure," said the Gruffalo, bursting with laughter. "You lead the way and I'll follow after." They walked and walked till the Gruffalo said, "I hear a hiss in the grass ahead." "It's Snake," said the mouse. "Why, Snake, hello!" Snake took one look at the Gruffalo. "Oh dear," he said. "Goodbye, little mouse," and slid right into his log pile house. "You see," said Mouse, "I told you so." "Amazing," said the Gruffalo. They walked some more till the Gruffalo said, "I hear a hoot in the trees ahead." "It's Owl," said the Mouse. "Why, Owl, hello!" Owl took one look at the Gruffalo. "Whoo, whoo," he said. "Goodbye, little mouse," and flew right up to his tree-top house. "You see," said Mouse, "I told you so." "Astounding," said the Gruffalo. They walked some more till the Gruffalo said, "I hear some paws on the path ahead." "It's Fox," said the Mouse. "Why, Fox, hello!" Fox took one look at the Gruffalo. "Oh, help," he said. "Goodbye, little mouse," and ran right into his underground house. The Mouse said, "Gruffalo, now you see, everyone is afraid of me. But now my tummy is starting to rumble, and my favorite food is Gruffalo crumble." "Gruffalo crumble," the Gruffalo said, and quick as the wind he turned and fled. All was quiet in the deep, dark wood. The Mouse found a nut, and the nut was good. And that is the end of the Gruffalo. The next book I'll be reading today is called Room on the Broom by Julia Donaldson. The witch had a cat, and a hat that was black, and long ginger hair in a braid down her back. How the cat purred, and how the witch grinned, as they sat on their broomstick and flew through the wind. But how the witch wailed, and how the cat spat, when the wind blew so wildly it blew off her hat. "Down!" cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the hat, but no hat could be found. Then out of the bushes, on thundering paws, there bounded a dog with the hat in his jaws. He dropped it politely, then eagerly said, as the witch pulled the hat firmly down on her head, "I am a dog as keen as can be. Is there room on the broom for a dog like me?" "Yes," cried the witch, and the dog clambered on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the fields and the forests they flew. The dog wagged his tail, and the stormy wind blew. The witch laughed out loud and held on to her hat, but away blew the bow from her braid, just like that. "Down!" cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the bow, but no bow could be found. Then out from a tree with an ear-splitting shriek, there flapped a green bird with the bow in her beak. She dropped it politely and bent her head low, then said, as the witch tied her bray in the bow, "I am a bird as green as can be. Is there room on the broom for a bird like me?" "Yes," cried the witch. So the bird fluttered on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the reeds and the rivers they flew. The bird shrieked with glee, and the stormy wind blew. They shot through the sky to the back of beyond. The witch clutched her bow, but let go of her wand. "Down!" cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the wand, but no wand could be found. Then all of a sudden, from out of a pond leaped a dripping wet frog with a dripping wet wand. He dropped it politely, then said with a croak, as the witch dried the wand on a fold of her cloak, "I am a frog as clean as can be. Is there room on the broom for a frog like me?" "Yes," said the witch. So the frog bounded on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the moors and the mountains they flew. The frog jumped for joy, and the broom snapped in two. Down fell the cat and the dog and the frog. Down they went tumbling into a bog. The witch's half-broomstick flew into a cloud, and the witch heard a roar that was scary and loud. "I am a dragon as mean as can be, and you, witch, look like a good supper to me." "No!" cried the witch, flying higher and higher. The dragon flew after her, breathing out fire. "Help!" cried the witch, flying down to the ground. She looked all around, but no help could be found. The dragon drew nearer and started to drool. He said, "I won't let you go. Do you think I'm a fool?" But just as he planned to begin on his feast, from out of a ditch rose a horrible beast. It was tall, dark, and sticky, and feathered and furred. It had 4 frightful heads. It had wings like a bird, and its terrible voice, when it started to speak, was a yowl and a growl and a croak and a shriek. It dripped and it squelched as it strode from the ditch, and it said to the dragon, "Buzz off! That's my witch!" The dragon drew back, and he started to shake. "I'm sorry," he spluttered. I made a mistake. It's nice to have met you, but now I must fly." And he spread out his wings and was off through the sky. Then down flew the bird, and down jumped the frog. Down climbed the cat, and whew, said the dog. And "Thank you, oh, thank you," the grateful witch cried. "Without you, I'd be in that dragon's inside." Then she filled up her cauldron and said with a grin, "Find something, everyone! Throw something in!" So the frog found a lily, the cat found a cone, the bird found a twig, and the dog found a bone. They threw them all in, and the witch stirred them well, and while she was stirring, she muttered a spell. "Hickety, ziggety, zaggety, zoom!" Then out rose a truly magnificent broom, with seats for the witch and the cat and the dog, a nest for the bird, and a pool for the frog. "Yes!" cried the witch, and they all clambered on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. And that is the end of Room on the Broom. The next book that I am going to be reading today is The Tale of Peter Rabbit by Beatrix Potter. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, and their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. They lived with their mother in a sandbank underneath the root of a very big fir tree. "Now, my dears," said old Mrs. Rabbit one morning, "you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there. He was put in a pie by Mrs. McGregor. Now run along, and don't get into mischief. I am going out." Then old Mrs. Rabbit took a basket and her umbrella, and went through the wood to the baker's. She bought a loaf of brown bread and 5 currant buns. Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went down the lane to gather blackberries. But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden, and squeezed under the gate. First, he ate some lettuces and some French beans, and then he ate some radishes. And then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. But round the end of a cucumber frame, whom should he meet but Mr. McGregor? Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting out young cabbages, but he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling out, "Stop, thief!" Peter was most dreadfully frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages, and the other shoe amongst the potatoes. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went faster, so that I think he might have got away altogether if he had not unfortunately run into a gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, and it was quite new. Peter gave himself up for lost and shed big tears, but his sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows, who flew to him in great excitement and implored him to exert himself. Mr. McGregor came up with a sieve, which he intended to pop upon the top of Peter, but Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind him, and rushed into the tool shed and jumped into a can. It would have been a beautiful thing to hide in if it had not had so much water in it. Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere in the tool shed, perhaps hidden underneath a flower pot. He began to turn them over carefully, looking under each. Presently, Peter sneezed. "Kerchoo!" Mr. McGregor was after him in no time, and tried to put his foot upon Peter, who jumped out of a window, upsetting 3 plants. The window was too small for Mr. McGregor, and he was tired of running after Peter. He went back to his work. Peter sat down to rest. He was out of breath and trembling with fright, and he had not the least idea which way to go. Also, he was very damp with sitting in that can. After a time he began to wander about, going lippity, lippity, not very fast, and looking all around. He found a door in a wall, but it was locked, and there was no room for a fat little rabbit to squeeze underneath. An old mouse was running in and out over the stone doorstep, carrying peas and beans to her family in the wood. Peter asked her the way to the gate, but she had such a large pea in her mouth that she could not answer. She only shook her head at him. Peter began to cry. Then he tried to find his way straight across the garden, but he became more and more puzzled. Presently he came to a pond where Mr. McGregor filled his water cans. A white cat was staring at some goldfish. She sat very, very still, but now and then the tip of her tail twitched as if it were alive. Peter thought it best to go away without speaking to her. He had heard about cats from his cousin, little Benjamin Bunny. He went back towards the tool shed, but suddenly, quite close to him, He heard the noise of a hoe. Scritch, scratch, scratch, scritch. Peter scuttered underneath the bushes. But presently, as nothing happened, he came out and climbed upon a wheelbarrow and peeped over. The first thing he saw was Mr. McGregor hoeing onions. His back was turned towards Peter, and beyond him was the gate. Peter got down very quietly off the wheelbarrow and started running as fast as he could go along a straight walk behind some black currant bushes. Mr. McGregor caught sight of him at the corner, but Peter did not care. He slipped underneath the gate and was safe at last in the wood outside the garden. Mr. McGregor hung up the little jacket and the shoes for a scarecrow to frighten the blackbirds. Peter never stopped running or looked behind him till he got home to the big fir tree. He was so tired that he flopped down upon the nice soft sand on the floor of the rabbit hole and shut his eyes. His mother was busy cooking. She wondered what he had done with his clothes. It was the second little jacket and pair of shoes that Peter had lost in a fortnight. I am sorry to say that Peter was not very well during the evening. His mother put him to bed and made some chamomile tea, and she gave a dose of it to Peter. 1 tablespoonful to be taken at bedtime. But Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail had bread and milk and blackberries for supper. The end. This has been Lisa Vest from the Farmington Public Library. Thank you for listening to Cuentos Hahne and Tales today. Please visit the Farmington Public Library's website at www.infoway.org.
This has been Cuentos Hahne and Tales, presented by the Farmington Public Library and KSJE 90.9 FM.